Hello friends, welcome back to BDD with Cucumber session 5. In today's session, you can learn what is Cucumber hooks all about, what is tagged hook, and in case of multiple hooks is available, how we can set the order or priority of the Cucumber hooks. So in real time, you already seen, in case you already learn Selenium and TestNG, right? You already seen there are some sort of steps, right, which will be required before running your test cases, right? Setting up the properties for the browsers, right? The creating a object coordinations for the browser, maximizing the browser, clearing all the cookies whatever available. This is the prerequisites available before you navigating to a particular website, right? Sometimes even after performing the operation, performing the executing the test cases, like validating all the assertion point, you need to just quit the browser, right? So these are the kind of post condition is there, or maybe you need to generate the proper report, right? You need to close right all the thread whatever is there. So this kind of precondition and post condition you need to do for your test cases. Suppose say I am just giving an example here. So in the project, right, BDD Cucumber trading, whatever we are doing it now, whatever you are using, you could see here we have already two features file, Google search dot features and Facebook login dot feature, right? In the features file we already had two test cases, right, where we are starting from that, like Google's home page open and the search text is visible enable. After that we are entering something, right, and we are validating that whether the based on the search criteria something is displaying or not in that particular Google home page. But nowhere we are writing that before that we need to open the browser, we need to maximize it, we need to clear the cookie. After that we can launch the browser, right? So these are the things we are not covering in our scenario or in our background, right, as part of our features file. And maybe whenever we want to generate the proper report or we want to close the browser, this is also not there, so as part of the post condition of the test cases. So with the help of the hooks, right, we can do this thing. So we'll be writing the hooks one, so that whatever scenario will be executing, right, every time those precondition and the post condition will be executed. Okay. So multiple prerequisites are required at the start of the test execution for most of the time, right from setting up the WebDriver, browser setting to cookies, navigating to the specified URL, etc. Similarly, some steps must be performed after executing the test scenario, like quitting the driver, clearing browser cookies, generating report, etc. Such cases can be easily handled using one particular type of Cucumber annotation, which is called Cucumber hooks. So Cucumber hooks are blocks of code that run before and after each scenario. It can be defined anywhere in the project or step definition layer using method @before and @after. Cucumber hooks annotation allows us to manage better code workflow and help in reducing code redundancy. Cucumber hooks are used in a situation where prerequisite step before testing any test scenario is performed. So user might have worked different testing annotation like before test, before method, before shoot, after test, after method, after shoot, etc. So unlike TestNG, Cucumber provides only two hooks, which is before and after. So with the help of before, right, we can write down some of the precondition which will be executed every time, right, in case we are executing so many scenario. Suppose we are having 10 scenario we need to run it, so definitely we will not going to add those precondition for every step. Instead of that, we will be using that before hooks and we will be adding that before hook, so that every time whenever scenario will be executed, every time that before part will be executed, after the scenario body will be executed. Similarly, with the help of @after annotation or after hook, we can write down the step which will be executed after each and every scenario. Just like the TestNG, we used to write before test, before method, after test, after method, before class, after class, before shoot, after shoot, like that, right? So that will be executed before the every method or every class or every test cases scenario run, right? So in case of TestNG, right, we will be using @test scenario, which will be used as a test cases. But here in the Cucumber, right, based on the scenario, right, it will be considered every scenario. In case of scenario outline we are mentioning, so based on the data type, right, based on the variation of the data type, so it will be considered as a scenario. So in case you are using the before and after hook, so I mean before each scenario before hook will be run, and after each scenario body is executed, after hook will be run, right? So this is the syntax, right? At the rate before tag we need to create a method, and we can create some step or some body here, right? Similarly, with the help of after hooks, which will be executes after every scenario, we can create a method called tear down, and for the before hooks we can create a method called setup, right? So for the tear down we can quit the browser, we can add some body in the browser. Okay, now let's try to implement it, right, the hooks in the Cucumber's actual project. So here we had two features file, one is the Google search feature, one is the Facebook login feature, where like in the Facebook login feature 4 scenario is there, and 2 scenario we have added smoke suit and E2E, and for 2 scenario we have added tag, UAT and regression, and for the Google search features we have added this kind of tag, right, smoke, regression, E2E, application 2. Maybe we can remove that application 2 for now. So this is the 3 tag, and integration tag is another, and therefore another scenario. Now, right, if you go to the runner class, so we can add define the smoke tags, whatever tag we want to run it. So in case we want to run the test case based on the smoke tag, so first it will try to validate all the features file, right, wherever for particular scenario smoke tag is getting matched. So after that it will filter those scenario and we will try to run them. So here, based on the smoke test in the Facebook login features file, we are having two scenario. So the total 4 scenario is there, but it is matching with 2 scenario, and from the Google search features file 1 scenario. So that is the reason, right? In the you can see if you expand it, so from the Facebook login 2 scenario is getting executed, and from the Google search Google search features file 1 test case is getting executed, right? And you could see here this is the output, right? So this is from the Facebook page scenario 1, Facebook page scenario 2, and this is the scenario from the Google search features. Now our questions will be like that, how we can implement the hooks, right? So that before and after hook, so that every time in case we are writing our scenario, every time that before and after hook will be called for each and every scenario. So that hook you can implement in any of the step definition class. So we have 2 class, right, Facebook login validation class and Google search engine class. So in any class you can write those hook, right? So it will be like @ before annotation, and then you need to create the method, right, public void. So setup method I can create, set up, this is the method I will be creating here. So I am not writing any steps, but instead of that I want to print out something in the console, but in the real time you will be writing some step to launch the browser, to maximize the browser, like that. Okay, so say setup method, right, the before or maybe the setup method will run for any scenario will run before any scenario. Okay, so that's the thing we want to run it, right? So you can see in case it is not there, you need to import the before from the cucumber dot io.cucumber.java before packages. So similarly we will be adding one method or any we will add one more hook. Alright, it can be, this kind of hooks can be added in any kind of step definition class, Java class, whatever you are writing. So it will be tiered down. Okay, sorry, it will be after here, after only, sorry, it will be after here, the hooks will be after, and method will be I am changing it to tiered down. So here we can change it, right, tiered down method will run after, right, any scenario or after every scenario. Similarly here also you can run it. Okay, so this is the 2 hooks we are adding it, before and after hooks, right? So before we have said that method we are creating setup so that it will be run before every scenario, and this will be run after every scenario. Now go to the runner class. So now if you want to execute your test case based on the tags called smoke, right? So it will take one scenario from that Google features file, Google search features file. It will take 2 test case, 2 scenario. from that Facebook login.pictures file, right? So 3 scenario will be executed. So 3 times that hooks will be called, before hooks and after hooks, right? Let's try to run it and let's see what is the happening here. So are we able to implement the hooks properly or not, and the hooks is working as per the definition, right, in the cucumber. So you can see based on the tags we added, right, the 3 test cases getting executed here. 3 scenario is getting executed from the Facebook login to scenario, and from the Google search, right, pictures file 1 scenario. Now we need to go to the console to understand that whether that hooks, based on the hook, right, right, our object test case is the test case is run properly or not. So this is the first test case from the Facebook page. This is the scenario, right? You can see scenario outline. This is the scenario, and you can see the setup method will run before every scenario after the scenario is getting executed, given, when, and then you can see the teardrop method will be run after every scenario. So before and after hook is working for the first scenario. Similarly, for the second scenario, before and after hooks also executed, which is from the Facebook login.pictures file. And another scenario is also executed here from the Google search.pictures file. We can see this is the tag name already available, already matching with that one, right? Okay, here, and this is the scenario, and this is the before hook, right, and this is the after hook. Okay, so that's why it is getting run. So in case you define the hooks in any of the shape definition class, right, so every time whenever you are running the scenario based on some set of condition, right, every time your before hooks and after hooks will be running, right, that method will be called and it will be executed. So that is the definition of the hooks, right? So that you will be writing in one time only in any of the step definition class, but whenever you are trying to run your scenario, right, based on the condition, so for each and every scenario before and after hooks methods will be called and it will be run. Okay, that is the beauty of the hook. Next thing is that, so say you have some sort of test cases, right? So say few test cases move, few regression, or few is kind of integration UAT, like that. But your condition might be that every time you don't want to call the same sort of before or after. Suppose you have 3 page you need to deal with, right, in your scenario. So one is the Google page, one is the Facebook page, one is suppose say Ready page, right, or maybe one other URL, right. So every time if you try to open your Facebook page browser, right, it will might be not work for the other test cases. So that is the reason sometimes you need to create multiple hooks with the same annotation called before and after, but you can add some tag inside that, so that based on the scenario tag, right, it will match it and it will try to call that corresponding hooks. So okay, that is called tagged hook in Cucumber. So tagged hooks are basically the problem solver when user need to perform different before and after actions for different scenario, specific to scenario. To explain in simpler way, think user have 5 different tags like sanity, regression, integration, URL, like that, which need to be tested with different URL. This is where tagged hooks help you to achieve that. Now we'll create the hook file and define the tagged hook in it. This can be done using @before, @after hook, right, followed by the tag name of the scenario. That is the reason inside the hook we are adding the tag. That is the reason it is called tagged hook. Okay, so let's comment out this part here, and will be similar way we will be adding this hook only. Setup here, and inside the setup we can add some hook, right, add the tag. So suppose say I want to, that setup method I want to run for the smoke one, right. Okay, so that's why I can give it, right. So it will be before, okay, no, so not here, sorry, I need to give it within the before syntax. Okay, so here in the before syntax we can give the kind of tag in the hook, so that is, this is called tagged hook, right. So I want to call it for the smoke test, so maybe I can change that this method will run before every smoke test scenario. Okay, Similar way, after also I can add it, that hook, right, and I can change it here. Let's try to change it. It will every after every. Now if you want to add few more hooks specific to your different tag, right, so you can create it. Okay, suppose say instead of smoke I want to create for integration. Okay, so similar way I can change it for the after also, and here method name I can change it, setup integration, right, and tear down integration. Okay, and this method will run before every integration test scenario. It will run before integration test scenario. So that's why you can create so many hooks with different tag. So that means different tagged hook, right? So more similarly you can create two more hooks for UAT, two more hooks for kind of others tag, right? E2E or regression. So that's why you can create it, right? Now say I'll be running my test cases based on the smoke, right, tag. So what will happen, right? So it will call the hook wherever that smoke tag is associated, right? It will call that before and call that after, right? In case it is not matching, it will not call anything, though we have created or added like 4 more hooks, but it will not call. So that is the beauty of the tagged hook. Now let's try to run it based on the tag smoke available. So based on the tag smoke available, it will try to run total 3 scenario, right? One is from the Google search features file and 2 is from the Facebook login features file. Now let's see whether it's working or not. Okay, now you can see here in the output, right? So the first scenario Facebook features is called, right? You can see here this method will run before every smoke test scenario that is coming from that particular feature before and the smoke tag. So before, right? So it can see this method will run before every smoke test scenario, and here you can see that method will run after every smoke scenario. So that is the tag hook is getting called here, right? Not the integration tag hook. Similarly for the other scenario from the other features file, you can see that method will run for before every mock scenario, and this method will run before every test scenario. So based on the tagged hook, right, whatever is tagged we are associating and whatever tagged we are trying to run it from the runner class, based on the match, that tagged hook will be called, right, from for the before and after class. So that is the concept of the tagged hook. Now say I want to run the integration tag, right? So here for the integration only one scenario is available specific to the integration tags available in both the scenario files, right, both the features file. So now if you try to run based on the integration tag, so definitely what happened, so that integration before and after tag hook will be called, right? So that is the thing, you will be getting it in the console output. Now let's try to run it with the help of runner class and let's see what is happening here. So here only one scenario will be executed, and for that the tagged hook where @integration tag was available, that will be called here, right? So you can see here only one scenario is getting executed, which is the Java tutorial, right? 1 out of 1, and if you expand it, you can see Google search has as Java, because that is the where, right, the integration tag is available, right, Java tutorial. Now if you go to the console for more details, right, this method will run before every integration test scenario, not the smoke scenario before and after tag is getting executed, but it is getting executed. This method will run before every integration test scenario. That tag hook is getting called, right, the scenario, and then that before tag hook based on the integration tags available, then the given, when, then condition, right, and then you can see here this course is getting displayed, then this thing is getting displayed. This method will run after every integration test scenario, not the smoke one is getting executed, because for that integration tag we have tried to add in the runner file. Now let's try to add one tag, right, where, right, you did not create any tag hook for this tag. Suppose say from the Facebook features file, if you call regression tag, right, so what will happen, not a single before or after hooks is already available, right, for that particular regression tag in the step definition classes. So definitely it will not try to call any before and after hooks, right? So now if you run, so only your scenario will be executed, but not a single before or after hooks will be triggered or will be called, and you will not be getting any input for those particular hook. So that's why you can just segregate it, right? And you can okay. So here regression also it is getting called, okay. So you can see here for the regression scenario, right? Evaded regression wherever is there, right? You can see that particular thing is not getting executed, right? Any of the hook is not getting executed, okay. So this is the scenario after the given when then. Similarly, this is the scenario and given when then, right? Not others, that not the before and after hook is getting executed. So that is the beauty of the tagged hook, okay. So in case you are having multiple tag there, and if you want to run based on the tag, so you can create multiple tagged hooks, right? So that particular relevant hooks will be executed based on the tag is matching, okay. So that is all about the tagged hooks. Now say how we can set the order or priority of the cucumber hooks, okay. So in case user is already worked in the test ng, right, you must be familiar that the priority of the test, right. So in case you are having 3 test cases, right, so what happen in case you are not assigning the priority, it will be executed, right, based on the alphabetical order of your scenario name, right. But suppose say you have written 3 scenario, say one for the login of the page, one for upon any e-commerce site you are doing the automation, and one test case you have written for login and opening the page, and second test case for searching the product, and third test cases for the making the payment of the product, right. So in case you have written these 3 test cases, and in case you want to execute them, so based on the alphabetical order it will try to execute it, but it will not get into the login will be first, and then your product search will be second, and the payment will be search. Sometimes it will try to execute the payment first based on the alphabetical order. So definitely in case that payment part is getting executed, it will fail because you did not log into the system, you did not search the product at all, so there is no point of making the payment. So that is the reason if you just prioritize, give the priority of this thing like 1, 2, 3. So 1 login will be executed first, then the 2 product search will be executed first, then the third priority called like the making payment will be executed first. So that's why you can set the priority in the test ng, okay. So similarly cucumber hooks also be executed as per the order, okay. So let's consider example with hook consisting of 2 hooks, 2 after or 2 before hooks, right, where no tag is there, okay. So every time based on the scenario execution it will try to execute. So user will set the order of the hook as per the requirement by simply specifying the order as in the hooks file code below. So before hooks will be executed based on the ascending order. So whatever hooks, in case giving it the lowest order, it will be executed first, and then the highest order it will be executed, like for the before hooks. But for the after hooks, the highest order will be executed first and lowest order will be executed last. So that is the sequence. For the before, like 0, 1, 2, 3 will be executed first. For the after hook, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0 will be executed first. So in the before and after you need to mention the order, okay. So for the before one it will be ascending order, for the after one it will be descending order, okay. So now let's just comment out this thing here. This line of code, okay, and just copy paste this code whatever is already mentioned in the PPT. So before hooks we are adding 2 before hooks. One is the order is 0 and 1. So first method is setup and setup 2. So this is will execute first before, this will be execute second before. And for the after hooks we will be adding 2 hooks. So tiered down. So this will be executed first because the order is 1. So it will be descending order. And the second hooks like after 1, so it is order 0. So this will be executed second after, right. So we will be just copy pasting the same line of code from here instead of writing it. So that is the way, right, we can set the order or the priority of the cucumber hooks in the normal cases. So in the any of the features file we can add them. In case you want to add them in the other feature file, that would not be any problem. So you can see this is the before, this is the before, which is order is 0, and setup method it will be executed first because for the before hook it will be ascending order, and this is the order 1, so it will be executed second, right, for the before one, but it will be before the scenario. For the after hook, it will be descending order. So in case your two hooks is there, right, order 1 will be executed first. So that is the reason it will be executed first. This is the tear down method. And for the order 0, which will be executed next, after 1 method, it will be executed second. Now, so you can give something in the runner class. Suppose say I will be giving integration. Only I want to execute only single test case, right? So here, based on the integration, right, tags, it will try to update, I need to find that scenario, but in the Java class, right, in the step definition, we did not mention any kind of tag, so it will be executed whatever tags you are running, does not matter. So it will be executed based on the before and after hooks is available. Okay, so it is not an ordered, not an kind of tagged hook, it is a normal hook. So every time for each and every scenario it will be executed. But here what will happen? Two before hook will be executed and two after hook will be executed, but based on the order. So before it will be in ascending order, after will be descending order. After hook will be descending order. So now if you go here, you find that thing, right? Based on the multiples before hook you have added and based on the priority you have given. So you can see here. So first scenario is getting executed with the tags, right? Only one scenario executed based on the integration tags available in the scenario level, but for the hook level it will be generic, so every time it will be executed. You can see this is the executed first before, right? This will be executed first because that for the before hook, right, order is 0, okay, and then order 1, so that is executed. This will execute second. After that you are given when then condition is getting executed, and then your next thing is that your after hook is getting executed. So after hook will be executed in the descending order. So your order 1 is getting executed. So this will execute first after, and the next order 0 is getting executed. So this will execute second after. So that's why, right, in case multiple hooks is available, right, without any tag, so you can set the priority of the order. Okay. Now let's change the runner class to some other tag, where instead of the integration tag, right, I want to run maybe the Facebook features file based on the UAT tag. So these two test cases will be executed, right? So just change it to UAT. Okay. So for both the scenario, so all the two before and after hooks should be executed, but based on the order, right? So let's try to execute and let's see what is the thing happening here in the console as well as in the file. Okay. So here based on the UAT, maybe there is some features available in the UAT also. Okay, you can see this is the UAT is there in the features file. So based on the features thing, right, it is getting executed, right? Search Google, because this is the features level also we have added some tag. So that is the reason based on the features level UAT parts, both the scenarios getting executed. So this is the two scenario executed, and for the other features file, right, so there was the tag available UAT. So this is the two test case will be executed. Okay. Now if you go to the console details, right, you could see here for the first scenario, two before hooks is getting executed, right, before first, before second, and then the scenario is getting executed, then the after, right, after first and after second is getting also executed. So based on the priority you have given. So after, for the after one, highest priority would be executed first and the lowest priority will be executed second. So this, because this is the generic hook, not the tagged hook. So every time for each and every scenario, all the hooks will be executed, right? All the before hooks and all the after hooks. Similarly for the other scenario, all the before hook, all the after hook, based on the priority as well. And the other last scenario, you can see this is the before hook and the ascending order, and the after hook in the descending order. So that's the concept of the setting up the priority of the hooks, right? The cucumber hook. So in this session you already know what is the hooks all about. So in case you are having some sort of step is not available in the cucumber, but you want to set some of the prerequisite or the post condition, just like the browser setup, maximizing, clearing your browser history or cookies, report generation, quitting the browser, you can add them in the hook. And in case you want to give the specific hook, right, you need to add specific hook based on your specific tag, so you can use the implement the tagged hook. And in case you are having normal hooks where multiple hooks is available for the before or for the after, you can set the priority as well. So before hooks will be executed based on the ascending order, whatever you are giving it at the before or after annotation, and the after hooks will be executed based on the descending order from the highest priority to the lowest priority. So that's the all about from the hooks. Okay, so I think you enjoyed the session. Thank you.